Hi guys, I'm Arundhati and welcome to our show. So today we have with us Anup Sridhar. Well, Anup Sridhar is an Olympian. He has represented India in 2008 Beijing Olympics. He's an Arjuna Awardee. Uh, he's a former national champion and currently he's the head coach of Anup Sridhar Badminton Academy in Bangalore. So today he'll be sharing his journey, his coaching style. He'll be telling about his academy and how he manages his players. So let's get started. Hello, Anup Bhaiya, and welcome to our show.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure to have you on this show. I've seen you play. You've been my senior, and I've seen you play for a long time. And it is my pleasure to have you on this show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's very nice to be on your show.
Just tell me about your journey, like how you started playing, and who was your first coach, your journey to Olympics, and now coaching. So, how has your journey been so far?
So I mean, it's pretty much been my entire life. I started playing badminton when I was 10 years old. There are a couple of outdoor cement courts in my apartment, and I happened to play quite okay in like an apartment tournament. So I think my mother just decided maybe we'll just try to put him in a little bit of badminton coaching to see how far this can go. My first coach was Mr. Biju Prasad. He was an NIS trained coach. He coached in the State Youth Center in Bangalore.
Yeah.
So it was just one single court, a very nice court, but just one court, and there were about 30 of us players.
Okay.
So the maximum you would get to play then is, if you're lucky, you might get. So I was young, so I would get one game, but of the ladies scoring 11 points.
Okay.
11 points then, 11 and 15 then. So I would get, like, if I was lucky, I would get one game. Otherwise, it was just maybe 5 or 6 minutes on the court, and then you have to make way for the seniors and all of them. I was very fortunate. Within 1.5 years, the Prakash Padukone Academy started in Bangalore, and I was one of the lucky few that had got selected. And I think, honestly, no matter what achievement I have, however big or small, I would give most of the credit to the Prakash Padukone Academy and my parents. At that time, to have an academy come in to take care of your training, to arrange for shuttles, and even to arrange for one amount of playing apparel equipment and kit for a player, it was unheard of, in those days. And for me, it was, and for my family, it was just a life-changing thing. I was fortunate enough later in my career to have a few achievements. The high point would certainly be that I was able to play the Beijing Olympics in 2008. Also in the same year, I got the Arjuna award, and my parents were there to see me receive it. So that was another high point of my career. I retired officially around 5 years ago from active badminton. I had a bunch of injuries that I couldn't recover from, and a very well-meaning, fantastic doctor advised me to maybe be a young coach rather than an old player. So the last 5 years have been really, it's been a learning experience, even though I've played badminton for so many years. Initially, I didn't know how interested I would be in it, to be honest. But the minute I got in, I realized, how much fun it is to still be involved with the game, and I'm very interested in sharing what I've learned in badminton with the next generations of players, and if I'm able to provide them more than what was available to me, that is something that really interests me. And ideally, if I can help them avoid mistakes which I've made in my career, perhaps we can continue on this fantastic run that India has been having the last maybe 10, 12, maybe 14 years. India has been very strong in badminton, and if I'm able to play some part in extending that run, I'd be really happy.
Nice. Awesome, Bhaiya. Awesome. So, Bhaiya, I wanted to ask you, you had a job in BPCL, and you left that job and you shifted completely into coaching. So, what motivated you to take up that decision, and how was your transition from a player to coach then?
So the first one is a little bit, frankly, it's a bit easy to explain. I'm not a very good multitasker. I think I can do one thing fairly well to quite well if there's just one thing that I have to do. So to be able to handle both the job and to coach at the same time, I wouldn't be able to coach at the level that I want to coach. And also, I mean, I've believed my whole life that if you're able to find something that you really enjoy doing, then to perhaps go all out, to do the best that you can at it. This has worked for me in my life. I don't come from a sporting family. I do have an uncle who actually represented Karnataka in Ranji Trophy cricket. But apart from that, we don't have any sportsmen in our family. Apparently we come from a sort of a farming line. That's our background. But I was very clear, even for example, in the 10th standard itself, when I was 15 years old, that I'm going to see how far I can go in badminton. I'd got reasonable marks in my 10th standard exams, and there was a fair bit of pressure from my parents to take science in 11th and 12th. But I knew by then that I want to see how far I can go in badminton, and education can come later if it has to come. So like I said, I mean, this is I do well at something if I do if I do it full time. So,
At a time.
correct. I'm quite bad at multitasking.
Okay.
The other thing, moving over from a player to being a coach, it's a different world. It's the same sport. It's the same badminton hall, the same shuttle, racket, shoes, but nothing else is the same. When you're a player, and especially a singles player, as you know,
Yes.
You only worry about yourself. You're only bothered about your issues, your areas of improvement. For example, something that was always on my mind when I was a player was after overhead movement, recovery back to the center. This needs to improve. Maybe I need to drop a bit of weight. Maybe I need to shift my balance, my movement. All of these things were on my mind, but now there's about 40-50 students who like me have a different issue each day, and I have to have all of those issues in my head and try to figure out what would I do if I was faced with that. How would I deal with it?
Yeah.
And if it is somebody that I can't immediately sort of relate to, like a girl in ladies singles, I try to think through and try to figure out what would be the best way for her to deal with. Perhaps she's not staying crouched down in the center enough. Perhaps the racket carriage is not so good. So what do I do to hammer this point home? So there's a lot more in the mind now, and yeah, it takes some getting used to. But it's good that I enjoy what I do, because I don't. I mean, I wouldn't do it very long otherwise. It is a tough job.
Totally agree. So, Bhaiya,
Yeah.
what are the positive changes you felt after you shifted into coaching? What are the positive?
I mean, it's probably my family that should say that, but I think I'm a lot more patient. Um, I think as a player, perhaps I wasn't really known for my patience. I'm a lot more patient now. I'm also a father. I have a 4-year-old son. That has taught me more patience than anything else in life, honestly. But yeah, being a coach has taught me one amount of patience. I'm still only about 4.5, 5 years into coaching now, and I still have a very long way to go. I try to learn from everybody that I see and everybody that I meet. I spent an excellent season with Arun this year and last year. And I'm able to pick up a lot of things from him. And with the other 3 years before that in the PBL in the Sahara team. So I try to keep my eyes and ears open and watch others and learn as much as I can. As far as positive changes, I would say It's for the players to decide really. But I think I've had a decent effect on some of the players I trained. They've had some very good results. It's all their hard work. I'm only facilitating training for them. I mean, rest of it, like I said, it's if I'm behaving better, maybe that's for my family to say, not for me.
Yeah, as you said, family, bhaiya. I wanted to ask you, how do you strike a balance between your family life and your coaching life?
So it's honestly it's not very hard for me. I'm quite lucky to have a fantastic team behind me. We have fantastic coaches, admin staff, and we are lucky to be in a position where we are able to have this team working with us. It has allowed me to focus on just coaching and leave everything else aside. My partner Vijay Lancy is honestly instrumental in that. He's ensured that I'm able to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be in the court. On the court. Of course, I'm a bachelor's degree holder, but then I'm not supposed to be in an office or figuring out accounts or I don't know. Arun is very, very good with Excel sheets and all this stuff. And I had asked him to teach me how to do some of this stuff. He never actually taught me anything.
You will teach you.
Yeah, yeah. I still don't know how to form or create an Excel sheet or any of this stuff. But so I'm lucky to have this team behind me. So when I'm done with my on-court coaching, there is still a lot of back-end work. I spend a fair few hours every day trying to figure out player specific what I need to work on and how do I work on it. So every day I'm able to watch players, talk to them, discuss with them how things are going. But once I'm done with coaching, I come back home and I'm quite lucky to have this 4-year-old boy now. He's also very, very high energy like I used to be. So I run behind him pretty much the rest of the evening. Yeah.
Cool, Bhaiya. So yeah, you started your academy, and tell
Right.
us something about your academy and what are the core values of your academy?
The last few years that I played, I trained under Tom John. I'm sure you know that is most people who've played badminton know who he is.
Yes,
I think he's an unbelievable guy. One of the best work ethics that I've seen in my life, along with Gopi. I think Gopi is a fantastic example, to follow. One of the best ambassadors for badminton that I've ever seen. But like I was saying, the last few years that I was playing badminton, I was training under Tom, and he had this motto, which was "serve the player." I try to sort of inculcate that as much as possible into everything that I do. When you run your own academy, there are some limitations that exist. Fortunately, over the years, most of these limitations have been removed. Most of it is to do with finances. I would love to be able to, for example, have an unlimited supply of AS50 shuttles of the best coaches, trainers, sparring guys, physios, all of that. But it's a journey. Everything doesn't happen on day one. As the years go by, I'm able to provide more and more to the players. I think if I had to pick one motto of my academy, I would say it would be serve the player. To find a way to give the player what the player needs. Sometimes the player is injured and they need a little bit of moral support, a little bit of help finding the right physio, the right doctor, the right masseur, the right trainer to get you out of the injury. So I've learned a lot over the course of the last 27 years in badminton, and I've broken almost everything possible in my body. So I know what you should do, but perhaps more importantly, I know what you shouldn't do. I try to sort of help the players in any possible way I'm capable of helping, really. But like I said, I mean, I've trained under Gopi for several years as well, and I mean, I've seen how his academy started in 2005, 2006. There were a bunch of national camps that we used to attend in Gachibowli Stadium then, because the academy was still under construction; it wasn't ready. In 2006 also we had very basic facilities compared to today. We didn't have the same results like today, fair enough, but it was still okay. It wasn't so bad. I had a couple of medals. We had a couple of good wins. Saina had a couple of big wins. With very basic facilities, we were able to achieve that. And I think the key is just the dedication that Gopi has shown over the years. I have seen him myself. We've all heard the stories, but I can 100% confirm that it's true. From 4:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. I have seen him do that day after day. And I mean, he's the best person to learn from. So if I can, if he can do it, then I need to do it. If I want to be a good coach as well. So I try as hard as I can. I'm still a fair bit behind, but maybe he'll help me get to the next level.
Anup, you have traveled for tournaments all over the world. So, according to you, what is the difference between our coaching system, our coaching style, and other countries' coaching system style?
Right. I think over the last maybe about 14, 15 years, there's been a lot of changes in the Indian coaching system. There wasn't really a system before that, to be honest. I think it was extremely individualistic, and we had, like, for example, an Abhinsham Gupta who was extremely fit but wouldn't smash. We had a lot of different kinds of players, and um, a lot of training back then was just based on trial and error. So you try this particular thing. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, try something else. There wasn't a whole lot of there weren't actually many training systems at that point. I think Gopi was instrumental in bringing in firstly PPBA for sure, but then Gopi later on was very important in bringing in a set of basic standards to any kind of training. I think the biggest change in the last maybe 15 years has been that the training in India has maybe increased 2.5 to 3 times. I think 2.5 or threefold the training has increased. As a result, you see Indians across events, not just men's singles or men's doubles or women's singles or women's doubles, across events, you'll find Indians are far more physically fit than before. You would of course have the odd case. I mean, Prakash was a legend. Syed Modi was a legend. But now, almost you would say the top maybe 50 men's singles players in India will all be at one basic level of fitness. The top 50 women singles in India will all be at one basic level of fitness. So I think physical fitness in India has become extremely important. We've recognized that this was one missing piece. We were always very talented. I think we have the best net game, for example, the best net control in perhaps the world. But we wouldn't get high enough at the net to actually use it. We had decent power and decent accuracy, but we wouldn't actually be behind the shuttle to actually use it. So there's no point if you have the best strokes in the world if you're not fit enough to get behind the shuttle and at the top of the net in the front of the court. So I think that is one big change that's happened in India. Training in Asia, Asian countries has always been very physical dominated. It's always been about being physically very strong, very explosive, a lot of smash net. The Indonesians, of course, are gifted in badminton. They were always very talented, but like the Chinese, the Japanese, the Malaysians to a certain extent, the South Koreans, all play very set systems, very rigid, aggressive, attacking style of badminton. In the West, people are a little bit more. People rely a little bit more on mental strength, tactics, strategy, and perhaps less emphasis on that outright explosive game than the rest of the world. I think in India we've been able to find a really good mix of the two. And I think as a result, we've been able to find a lot of success.
What is your coaching philosophy, and how do you use your vast experience into coaching?
So my philosophy is very similar to actually what I just said about the new um, sort of system of training that's been in India. The most important thing is to be physically fit. I've always believed, for example, sound mind, a sound body, sound mind. I think beyond a certain level, everybody has one amount of talent and have enough talent. I don't think you'll find many Indians that are not talented. Actually, we are among the most talented badminton players in the world. Um, I think physical fitness is extremely important. Now, physical fitness doesn't in a sport like badminton, you require everything. You need to have endurance. You have to have speed. You have to have power, agility, reflexes. It includes everything. But perhaps more important than anything else is being able to stay fit for an extended period of time. Not just for 6 months out of the year. Or this was a huge problem that I used to face. Over a period of 3 years, I think at any point of the top 10, I would always have winning records actually against maybe 7 of them. But I actually never broke the top 10 myself because I would win a couple of good matches and then be injured for the next 6 months. So my ranking would drop. So my ranking would go up, play well, get injured, drop. And it was constantly, like that. So my philosophy is to find a way to keep players on the court fit and on the court. I think this is extremely important. This does not and cannot happen without a high level of physical fitness. And like I said, fitness is an amalgamation of everything that I mentioned before. You need all of it. And yeah, so that is the main sort of thought that I have. Now, how you work on it is in many cases different for different players. It's after a certain age, it's difficult to have a one size fits all program. At the same time, if you have 50 students in an academy, it's also difficult to have 50 different training sessions a day. It's not possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So as far as possible, you try to bring in an individual system of training for each person, but it must be remembered that it is as far as possible. There will not be a different training program for each student in every academy. It's simply not feasible. There aren't enough courts, there aren't enough coaches, and that will not happen ever. And it's not required that it happens either. So I think while each player has to work on their strengths and weaknesses, there are some basics that everybody needs to be able to do. Like, for example, smash net and one amount of physical fitness and hide the net behind the shuttle at the back of the court. These things everybody needs. Beyond that, of course, for example, Siddharth Thakur needs a little bit more of stroke control. Harshit needs to get physically more fit. A bunch of students have different requirements. So this is more or less what I try to do in my academy.
Okay, so Vijay, to add into these questions, what are the techniques that you use that you have adopted to create an intrinsic motivation among your players, so that when player is self motivated, it is easy for a coach to teach them something new. So how do you do that?
I think this is where, to be honest, patience comes into play. A lot of the time, it seems so obvious to a coach that तुझे ये करना है, ये नहीं करना है. It seems so obvious, but motivation is a very, very big part of it. You absolutely nailed that question. I think it's a very, very big part of it. There are many players that are self-motivated, and it's very easy to coach them. You have to only tell them once that perhaps your net control is not so good, so 200 net each side every day, and if you say that once, it'll get done. But there's a lot of players that need a little bit more motivation, and I think I've tried at least to be extremely patient with players. One thing I believe is in absolutely never giving up. So every player has a decision to make. They have to choose based on how old they are, what level they are at, what is the situation, for example, at home. And based on all of that, decide whether they want to play or they don't want to play. once they've made that choice to play, I think it's very, very important for a coach to never give up on that player. Never, ever give up. Because I think, I have been maybe perhaps sometimes faced with that situation when I was a player where I would struggle to find belief from a coach that I can actually do something. And it's very, very hurtful, to have a coach not believe in you. So I think it's very, very important for a coach to never give up on a player, as long as that player is ready to fight for himself or herself. And I really believe that, there will be cases. Look, I'm 37 years old. I cannot play badminton competitively again. It will not happen. So there are some cases where, facts, you'll have to face facts. But apart from that, I think, we should really, really always be positive, be optimistic, and like I said before, have patience. I spend a lot of time talking to my players, sharing my experiences, telling them all the things I did wrong and some of the things I did right. And I think that's actually maybe one of the most valuable things I can share with them.
So, according to you, what is the best way to evaluate athletes' performance? So, the actual results obtained by the athlete, or subjective perception provided by the coaches. So, which one would you prefer?
So this is a slightly difficult one to answer, to be honest. I think, long term, yes. What results you end up having, that is that is a reflection of what you've done, all the years preceding that. In the short term, I think the process that is set by a coach, the systems that are set by a coach, there are reasons behind everything that is done. For example, why do I have 2 times footwork right now, 2 times shadow sessions a week, is because we don't even know when we'll be back in competition. This is kind of like an extended off season, 2, 3, 4, 5 months maybe. We don't even know how long. So we might as well make use of it to get speed endurance up. So in the short term, I believe the process and the system, and whether the player is following that is maybe more important than the immediate 1 or 2 results also. But at the end of your career, in the long run, I think certainly if the processes and systems are followed, and what the coach sets for you, if it is followed over the years, I have no doubt that you will end, at the end of your career, you will look back at it with all the results that you could ever have possibly achieved, you would achieve it. So in the short term, it's very difficult to judge based on 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins, or one loss, 2 loss, or 3 losses. It's very, very difficult. I think if a coach is able to see a player constantly progressing, physically, skill wise, on the court, temperament wise, then then that whatever you're doing, you should continue doing it, because the results will follow for sure. Hard work will never go waste. I'm very, very sure about that.
Hard work will never go waste. True.
Yeah.
So, Bhaiya, you have played at the highest level, and you have known the current generation of players like Kashyap, Pranoy, Sai. You've played with them, you've traveled with them, with them. So, in your opinion, what are the most common psychological issues faced by the badminton players?
So I think I faced a little bit of it while I was playing as well. It is to do with, see, when things are going okay, when you're physically fit, and when you're in form, to find that belief and to be really confident. I think our current batch, I think they do it very, very well. They really amaze me with the courage, the mental strength that they show across matches, tournaments, match after match, week after week, year after year. It's been phenomenal. But at the same time, when you hit a bad patch, a bad phase, I think it sort of reveals, maybe if there is a problem within your temperament, or within your psyche. I think it gets revealed then. what I would like to see is our players firstly finding a way to be uh, physically and mentally fit for as much of the year as possible. I think right now, our guys are. I think when our guys are fit, they're among the best in the world. There are very very few people who will beat them when they are fit. I think maybe a Momota or I don't even think Victor will beat our guys when our guys are fit. But I think staying fit for extended periods of time has become a challenge now. I think it's as much a mental battle as it is a physical one. And I think, I mean, I'm an optimist, especially since I became a coach. And I'm an optimist, and I think whether it's Pranoy or whether it's Sai or Shrikant, these guys will figure it out. Kashyap actually deserves a lot of credit. He spent a lot of time. I'm not even sure how many years. Being out of the top 50, the top 100 at one point. He was struggling with injury. Avoiding this and that and the other in training. Not so many squats or not so many jumps and things like that. I think he's really, really fought back so well. He has persevered. He has persisted. He has found a way, and I'm really, really impressed with him. Technically, he is my junior, but I'm very, very impressed with him, and I'm very inspired by him.
Wow,
So maybe in that regard, he's probably my senior.
that's nice word for very kind words of you. But
Yeah.
as you said that players need to be mentally fit and physically fit. So if a player is physically fit, will he be automatically mentally fit, or he'll have to work on his mental ability?
Yeah. Yeah, so in my personal experience, it has been that whenever I was physically fit, I also found that temperament-wise, I was on point. For me, it was sound body, sound mind. There are some players who need a little bit of help getting over that mental block to beat a particular player, or perhaps players from one particular country, or something like that. I actually don't believe that everybody requires it, but it's also something that if you find the right person, I think this is really, really important. You have to spend the time to find the right person to help you with your temperament and with sports psychology, because the wrong person can do you a lot of harm also. I think this is extremely important. This is a time where a lot of I don't want to speak ill of anybody, but there's a lot of people out there who actually can't help and don't help very much. Most of the time, in my experience at least, it's been that most people don't require additional help, or at least help for extended periods of time. Um, I think there are some people who require help sometimes, and if they do something and they find that it's helping, then by all means carry on, keep doing it. But it should be very carefully chosen, and the coach must be consulted before you take help, especially in this department, from somebody else. It's a very important thing, and the coach must be kept in the loop.
So, which is your favorite part of coaching?
Um, this will maybe almost sound like a cliche or something, but I really like the training days more than the tournament days almost.
Okay.
I feel like if I'm able to do my job right in training, then the results in the tournaments will follow. So I really enjoy the training days. We have the odd day where we have a little bit of like a fun warm-up session, followed by maybe just a double session. I play a few doubles there as well. I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight, but I'm so fat now. My God. Yeah, I'm trying, but I can't keep pace with these guys, So, but I don't care. I like playing, and even if I have to play under 15 girls doubles or something, I still have fun doing it. Yeah.
What are your views on the future players of our country?
The future is bright. I think the amount of talent we have, the number of kids taking up the game has gone up maybe hundredfold in the last 10 years. And I hope it increases another 100 times from what it is right now. We need a lot more people taking up the game. That said, there are a couple of areas where, that need urgent attention, in my opinion. One is a severe lack of trained, certified, qualified coaches. I think there's a severe lack of this at the grassroots level, because if we don't have the right people coaching in those levels, you will have fewer and fewer players that make it to intermediate, advanced, and then elite. We need really solid coaching there. I was very fortunate to train under Mr. Biju Prasad, who taught me how to hold a racket, how to move on a court, all the strokes, a drop, a smash, a clear, lift, a keep, all of that. I was very fortunate to have him teach me those things. But we really need a lot of intervention, whether it is from the National Association, from private companies, from the government. We need a lot of intervention, and I think we need maybe maybe a couple of thousand trained certified coaches at the grassroots level. The second thing is that we were all employed. I mean, like you mentioned, I was employed with Bharat Petroleum until I resigned about 5 years ago. I was very fortunate to have that job. Bharat Petroleum is a fantastic employer, and without that job, it would be so difficult for me to continue playing badminton. It gave me a sense of security. It was always something that I could fall back on. Um, you know, um, but public sector companies themselves are struggling nowadays, as we all know, and employment has really dried up. There are only a few contracts, scholarships, here and there nowadays, and I think this is going to leave a huge gap. There are more and more players playing really well. The quality of competition in our All India tournaments right now, I would say it's harder to win an All India men's singles event um, than winning an international challenge event or something like that. It's almost as tough as winning a Grand Prix, actually. And yeah, and there's so many players that really need help. They have to be somehow or the other. They have to get independent. At least financially, by the age of 21, 22, 23, at least by 24, 25. And I think the leagues now have to step in and find a way to make this happen. Because public sectors are on their way out. Public sectors and public sector employment it's on its way out, and it will not return. But if we can't grab this momentum that people like Gopi, Saina, Sindhu, and Srikanth have given us, they've given badminton in India a huge amount of momentum. We have to grab this momentum. We have to have programs and initiatives and events that our local players can earn some money out of. If we don't do this, we risk going back to 25 years ago, and we won't find another Saina, Sindhu, Srikanth coming and performing together at such a high level at the same time. I don't think it will happen again so easily. We have fantastic talent, but it's up to everybody now, and we must find a way to do this. We have to have state leagues. We have to have national league. The national league has to expand and get bigger. State leagues have to come in and find a way to help players make a little bit of money as well. I think it should not be seen as even 24, 25 years, and your parents still have to pay your expenses and things like that. We should be able to find a way, and we must find a way to make players at least financially independent as soon as possible. We have great talent, and I'm very optimistic for the future.
If given a chance to you,
Yeah.
What would be your plan for the future of Indian badminton?
Um, so we've just seen, actually, literally just yesterday, a complete restructure of India's education
Yes.
policy.
Yes.
Uh, we need something similar with badminton. BI has done very, very well in the last 10, 15 years. There are things it can do better, of course it can. We need the government to step in. We need some corporates to step in and help bring in systems into to Indian badminton, so that we have a very robust league system. Our national tournaments don't lose importance and continue to retain their importance. The Indian National Championship should always be a very, very important tournament for any Indian to win. And I would really try to find a way to keep players and to bring players who have retired, people like you, Arun, and myself. We have all found our way back to the sport. I think the more of us that find our way back to the sport and into coaching, the brighter the future will be for badminton in India. I think a lot more of us need to come back into the sport and stick with coaching. We have learned a lot. We have really gained a lot from the sport of badminton. I think for all of us, right? Badminton has given us everything in life, right? I mean, the shirt that I wear or this computer that I'm using, everything I have is because of badminton, and we must find a way to give back to the sport. I think we are best placed to work as coaches. We must also find a way to professionalize and to bring professionals into sports right now. People like us will contribute in one department, but we need professionals to come in and to bring systems and processes into the running of every single association, state, national, international, Asian, everywhere. There should be professionals operating. They should all operate with targets and goals in mind. For example, like ATP does in tennis.
Yeah.
Every year, the prize money of tournaments has to increase by a certain benchmark, or the CEO is fired. So we should have one amount of, one number of benchmarks set in this regard. And like I said, see, literally through blood, sweat, and tears, people like I said, Gopi, Saina, Sindhu, Shrikant, they've given Indian badminton a very high place in world badminton, right? They've put India very high on the world map. uh, it is the responsibility of all of us now to find a way to ensure that we keep it there. And I think the best way to do it is to a certain extent corporatize and professionalize every single association. I think that will help.
So according to you, as you said, ki BAI is doing a fantastic job. So according
Yes.
to you, what are the things BI should do more to improve?
See, there are areas where BI has done fantastically well. There are areas where it has done quite poorly as well, right?
Okay.
So this exists everywhere. There's not going to be any association that you find only does well or
Perfect
anything like that.
everywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
That does not exist. That said, I think we have a BI president right now who really is prepared to listen to us, takes our views and opinions. Of course, I would wish that execution is far better than it is right now. But like I said, the way this happens is by bringing professionals in to manage the sport. I think the sport has grown tremendously, and it has grown beyond what a regular orthodox association can manage going forward.
Right.
We need professionals. We need people from an IMB, IMC, IMA, from the best business schools in the world. We need people like that to come in and run our sport for us now. It would be great to have a panel where former players are involved to discuss the direction in which the game, where the game is right now, and the direction in which the game should go in the future. We should learn from our past players. There are several of them, very, very well-meaning people who run fantastic academies,
Yes.
have been running them for decades. Their experience and their knowledge must be sought. And the most important thing is look, we have to find a way to ensure that players, players are the most important part of this entire puzzle. Very often they are not treated as such. They're almost treated as the least important piece of this puzzle. We have to find a way to change that. players are so important. Without players, we have nothing. We don't have anybody to train. The association has nobody to manage, and spectators have nobody to watch. We have to make players the stars that they are and they deserve to be, and we must do that. And everybody. It's not just the top two or three. It's all of them. It's the remaining 25,000 of them that make the sport great.
Yes.
And we must find a way to ensure that nobody is left behind here. And while everybody is working to ensure the sport grows, we should perhaps try to find a way to make players, make them a higher priority than they are right now. I think that's very important.
So according to you, what are the things to be done for the coaches ecosystem in India?
Yeah. So the first thing would be definitely, like I said, ideally what I'd like to see is either a government or an national association-led certification program for coaches.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I mean, for example, Bangalore alone, not Karnataka, just Bangalore has 5,500 plus badminton courts.
Yeah.
Just for these number of courts, you need at least 2,000 coaches. We might not even have 10% of that many trained certified coaches. At least trained / certified. We need education in coaching to become much more mainstream than it is right now. I think that will help a lot. Certainly, another very important thing is for coaches to also be given the importance and the respect that they deserve. Very, very often, and for many years and decades now, it's just been that a coach is somebody disposable. A coach is somebody who's if you can't find somebody else to be a manager also of your team, you make the coach and the manager, and you expect that person to do everything at the same time.
Yeah.
This thankfully in the last several years has not been the case. I think more staff is sent with the coach to help manage the team. But see, coaches are always going to be measured by the performance and the results of their trainees. So while the game gets bigger, it's inevitable that some players will get really, really big, and they might even get bigger than the sport. It's inevitable that happens. At that point, you should still reflect, look back, and try to figure out what was the system or who created the system that created this many players. Prakash Padukone Badminton Academy in '94 was certainly one. I would definitely say that since Gopi started coaching in 2005, 2006, he's changed the face of coaching, I think, in India. And no matter how much you say about what he's done, it'll always seem less, because I think only those of us who have actually seen him do it will really understand what he's actually done, because he's done such a huge thing he's done. It hopefully will not require me or anybody else now to put in that level of effort, because he's already done it and he's made badminton important. So it's that much easier for the rest of us. But I think what I'd like to see for coaches in the short term certainly is that I would like to see more certification programs being available. I think a lot of coaches want to be certified, want to study, but there simply isn't a program out there which they can show to a state association for a job, which they can show to to a school for a job or something like that. I think these programs need to be much more available than they actually are right now. And ideally, if BI takes up this responsibility, I think that would be fantastic.
So just move ahead. Your academy has tied up with sports school badminton, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, sports school badminton academy, right?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah. So what's it like, and what will be the benefits for the younger generation?
So the goal here is to find a way to provide everything under one roof, including education. Education and academics, are still a very, very important part of any Indian kid life. I think it's extremely important to find a way to as far as you can, balance the two. But actually, to be honest, the badminton hall at the sports school is under construction as of right now, and it is not ready. Um, only once I actually start operations there will we be able to sort of comment further. It probably isn't right to comment right now before anything has started. Of course, with the with the COVID issue, there are a lot of delays across the board. This is not in anybody's hand right now. We just hope and pray that this goes away. The sooner the better. But the goal there is like I said, to find a way to balance sport and education, and as far as possible to have everything under one roof. That's the goal of the sports school.
Okay. So, what will be the advice for the younger generation and parents?
Yeah. Firstly, I'll address the parents part, because that's something we all deal with all the time. The first thing is, as coaches, yes, we are happy to answer any questions that any of you have. There's no doubt about that. But that said, what I would request parents to do is to do a lot of research and to spend a lot of time figuring out which is the best place for your son or daughter, or to train in, which is the best place, and who's the best person, coach for your daughter or son to train under. Once you make that decision, please have faith in that coach. If you don't have faith in that coach, you really, neither you, the coach, or your daughter's son, nobody will benefit. Nobody, if you're constantly second guessing what the coach wants you, what your coach wants your kid to do, it's something that will shake the confidence of the coach also. Even we will be unsure. Maybe is this the right thing, or maybe is that the right thing? There's always an idea behind everything that anything that a coach does. So and give it some time. So give it one minimum period of time. Badminton is a tough sport. It's a fantastic sport, but it is a tough sport. To show meaningful improvement, it takes a minimum period of time. So to expect miracles in a month, 2 months, 6 months, it's just not reasonable, and it's not realistic. It will not happen. I assure everybody, nothing will happen in 6 months time, nothing big. So it will take a period of time. You must be patient, and do all of your research, questioning everything before figuring out where you want your kid to train. Once you decide that, please have faith and put your trust in that coach. Otherwise, don't train there. Please find somewhere else to train. To kids, I would say only a couple of things. Enjoy what you do. Life is short. A badminton career is extremely short. Yeah. Enjoy every moment of it. You will really miss it when you're retired. I can assure you of that. Yeah. You'll really miss it. And the other thing is aim high. Aim high. It doesn't matter what anybody says. Somebody might laugh at you if you say, I will ye karunga, wo karunga. Let them laugh. It does not matter. All right. Aim high and do everything in your power to make sure you achieve those ambitions and those goals. Everything in your power. If you achieve everything that you set out to, great. If you don't, you will still reach a very high level and you will have no regrets. I tried everything possible in my playing career. I don't have any regrets in my playing career. So I tried every kind of training possible. I waited until I had an injury which I could not recover from, to actually retire. I did everything possible, and I'm happy that whatever I had in me, I exploited to the best possible manner with what I had, at that point. So aim high and do everything in your power to achieve those aims.
I have to ask you this question: which part of your life you enjoyed the most, playing or coaching?
I'm only a coach for the last 5 years now, but I played for 23. I definitely enjoyed playing. The most. There's no doubt about that. The best moments of my life will for sure be when my son was born, and when I got married. But apart from that, so many badminton memories that I can't even. I suppose my one best match would be my win against Taufik at the World Championships in 2007. Um, I remember. I mean, as perhaps it sounds a bit arrogant. I certainly don't mean it to be, but I almost sort of knew even before the match that I probably will win. And when I won, I think I felt a lot of relief uh, just that I did it. I hadn't told anybody that, before the
But
match.
that's not arrogance. I think that's confidence.
Yeah, I mean, some people might consider it to be arrogance or whatever. I think I only spoke to Rupesh, I think, about it before my match, or maybe Rupesh and Sanev. Can't remember, but I remember just maybe only telling them before the match that I I really feel I'm somehow or the other I'm going to win. It happened that it was 20 to 23rd set, so it was literally it was just it was just there, but that might be one of my fondest memories. But also my first national title, national championship title at Jamshedpur in 2005. That was a very very special. I think that might be the most special win of my career. Yeah.
So you enjoyed the playing part most. Great.
The playing part more right now. Maybe if we talk after a couple of years or 4 5 years, maybe it'll be something to do with coaching by then.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what till now? What is the best memory you have in coaching?
In coaching, I mean, it's obviously, some tournaments where we've had, very, very good results with players um, who almost thought their careers were over. You know how it is when you lose a match. You think your career is over. You think you're the most useless person in the world. You can do nothing. And then you come back and have a great result, and you just feel so
Yeah.
good about yourself, and all the hours of work and sweat and the hours where I'm yelling, you know, all of that is paid off. So there have been a few tournaments. I don't want to single any tournament out to. I don't want any players to feel bad that I didn't mention their match.
Yeah.
But there have been several tournaments like that. There's been a state tournament where I was really really pleased at the end of it. There's been a national tournament as well. A few international results as well. Very very heartening ones. Even when I was not there. So yeah. I mean, there have been a few tournaments, a few moments of great happiness.
Great. I mean, I wish you more of such memories in the future. And it's been a great session.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been a great session. I mean, your advice, I really got goosebumps. Matlab, अभी तक का ऐसा best advice on my show. And the things you said for the coaches ecosystem, I hope
Yeah.
in future uh, it should be utilized, it should be implemented, and your journey has been so good. And I wish you all the very best for your future. And thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, thank you so much for having me on, and all the very best with your career as well, and also with the show.
Thank you so much. So that was Anup Sridhar, guys. He told his motto about his academy is to serve the players. He said physical fitness in India has become extremely important as we Indians are extremely talented, but we lack fitness somewhere. And he has given the best advices for upcoming players and parents. So that was Anup Sridhar, guys, and our best wishes are always with him for his academy and future endeavors. So, guys, next week we are having Vijaydeep Singh. He's a multiple time national champion in doubles, and he's the current national doubles coach. And he was a part of Asian Games team as a coach when the team won bronze medal. And he will be sharing his journey and his experiences with us. So, guys, do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And I'll see you next week.